14th day of July 2026. We'll call this meeting to order. Land acknowledgement. The town of Cardston acknowledges that we are located on the traditional Blackfoot Confederacy territory. We have all councillors here. We have Councillor Selk online, Zoom, so thank you for being here, everyone. We're going to go right into our additions. Is there any additions? Seeing none, can I have a motion to make a motion to approve the agenda, please? Councillor Winder?
To approve the agenda.
Perfect. All in favor? Perfect. Thank you. All right. We are going to skip right to 4 because the delegation, the public hearing is at 6 o'clock. So we need a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting. Go ahead, Councillor.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 23rd, 2026.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Town entrance signs, did we decide anything on that from before?
No.
No. They're looking a little shaggy, that's all.
Shaggy. Okay.
Yep.
All in favor?
If your name.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go 5C because A and B go with public hearing, so we'll go right to 5C. So this is bylaw amendment 1649U. This is the electricity distribution. So we'll have Jeff come speak to this.
This lectern seems a long ways away from my desk. All right, let's see if Councillor Self can see me. Sorry, Councillor, let me finish a note from something. Okay. I kind of apologize for having this one on the table. You saw this about 2 months ago, and we sent it away for testing. What happens with these when there's a change to the rate? We sent it to NMAX, and they run the new rate structures through all the different kinds of bills to make sure it works well, and they do testing on the rate. And there was some tiny little typos within the bylaw that they found. And if you did go through that, you would have seen they were very, very minor in nature. Just some things that between me and the consultant we missed, and then while we were having it open again, the consultant wanted to add some wording into one of the classifications, the unmetered classification. So these were just little units of measure changes that we needed to fix. I'm just scrolling back here. So nothing material is what I would say. So I am asking if we can do 2 readings, allow for 3rd reading and 3rd reading.
Council, would you be willing to do that? Perfect. Councillor Kenley.
I'll move bylaw 1649U be given first reading.
Questions? All in favor? Thank you. Councillor, go ahead. Councillor Selk? Oh, he was...
I'd like to move second read. Oh.
No, you're good. Sorry. Yeah, you're just a little delayed, so I wasn't sure if you were voting or wanting to do this. You're up. Go ahead.
My doctor says I'm a little delayed.
No, the computer is delayed. Go ahead.
Okay. I'd like to move second reading of bylaw 1642U.
49. Yep.
49.
Be given second reading. All in favor? Thank you.
A motion to allow.
I would make
yeah, go ahead.
Make a motion to allow 3rd reading of bylaw 1649U.
Perfect. Questions? All in favor? And final. Yep. Go ahead, Councillor Smith.
Move that bylaw 1649U be given 3rd and final reading.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, we're going to go right to 5D, Chinook Foundation garbage bylaw request. Since you're up there, Jeff.
Yeah, so you've seen the backgrounder. Councillors who are on this committee, Councillor Selk and Kenley, I believe, you may have some additional context you wish to add. You see the request from Temple City Villa. I tried to, when putting this together, I tried to go back as far as I could find, and I included some samples of those old bylaws that at some point in the 90s, the garbage bylaw went to essentially a per unit type of system, where here was the price of a unit of garbage, and these buildings had X units of garbage. And they, if you go before that, it's actually quite interesting. You look at before that, they just listed the buildings by name. So it'd be like, well, you know, this building is going to pay this and this building is going to pay this. And there was an effort, at least in the late 90s and 2000s, to say, let's not name the buildings anymore, but just say these types of businesses have this many units of garbage. One of the consequences of that is that you have someone like the Villa with 38 units that is paying 38 times the unit price for garbage. And you can see the request from Kathy and on behalf of the Chinook Foundation is to look at potentially reducing that. Now, while I understand the request, I would just caution council to think about, if we're going to reduce that, how are we reconciling with other low garbage producing households? So if you are a widower in a house of your own, you're going to pay that unit of garbage. You may produce exactly the same amount of garbage as someone in the villa. We don't have any measurements or metrics to say that these people are producing less. So while I completely get it, I would like some feedback on your thoughts on how to proceed with this request.
Councillor Court.
My ancient mind, I know we talked about this in one of my councils. As a matter of fact, I remember going back behind or after council and looking what we were dealing with back there with the garbage pickup. Did you find anything on that at all? In the last,
No.
We had talked about putting bins in there.
So there is.
oh, we did, didn't we? Yeah. About a big blue bin, is that what you're talking about?
Like a hydraulic bin in the back.
I couldn't remember. They had asked this last term too, and I couldn't remember the answer what we gave them as to why we couldn't change it. And then we talked about bins, but then I don't remember where that went.
Don't need
Yeah.
it, counselor. Sorry.
That's fine. I guess you can answer that question. I don't know if there's an answer to that question, but what's the difference? Can you explain between the lodge and the villa and like why they're built differently?
Aside from it's carried through on these bylaws, I don't know what the rationale at the time was in assigning the amount of I mean, the amount of units is pretty obvious in the villa because there's 38 units. So of course, you know, it'd be the same as some other a rental or something. How the lodge was determined at essentially, it's not quite. Yeah, it's actually almost not quite a third.
Yeah,
I don't know how they landed there because there's 60 units.
there's more for sure.
62 or so in the lodge. So,
More than
But do they have a container? Like a pick
Mhm.
steel container? Okay.
And the residents
Go ahead.
said that
I mean, whatever we can figure out to help them out or whatever's fair. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't know if we can look into the bins again. I don't know if there was a cost and who was forking out that money for those bins, that there was a fight about that. Not a fight, but a disagreement last term. And then it kind of got kiboshed. I don't know if we can look into something, like find a cheaper way for them to come to something. And I don't know what that is, or if this is the cheaper way. I don't know.
So why don't you direct administration to look into previous conversations that we had in regards to this? Why don't you do that?
you think it was last term, Councillor?
It was because I know Councillor Court was with me, and because I went and looked at two.
But was it brought to council though? Or was it
Was
just,
just at your table?
Yeah, was
Yeah.
it just, because I don't remember it.
I don't know if it was ever brought to.
Sure.
I think they asked us to ask you
Oh,
just
okay.
on the side.
I don't remember it being brought to. So
Anyways, I'm
direct-
gonna direct
you are.
administration, motion direct administration to look into previous talks of this circumstance, and if we can find any solutions, whether it's bins or a cheaper solution for them, or just to find a fair method for them, and maybe that's the method that's current. So
Yep. Question, go ahead, Councillor Johnson.
just curious how off the top of your head, what does a bin cost?
They're almost about $9,000 now.
For steel bin.
Yeah, they've
I think
gotten
that's what
wild.
the reason was, but they're also paying.
It has been the common practice with with institutional properties that they buy their own bins.
Yeah.
So that, because they're not taxed. So we have, if you look at the hospital, the Good Sam's, some of those, they've purchased their own bins when they've wanted those. But I can look into that a little further. But yeah, they're around $9,000 now, Councillor.
So we have a motion on the table. All in favor? Okay. Jeff, do you need any other information from us? Councillor Suck, did you have a question? in regards to this? Or are you
That was
good?
just delayed.
Delayed voting, okay.
This,
I can't tell because it's delayed. Go
that
ahead.
I'm pretty sure that was the reason it was a big cost to buy the bins.
Could have been.
But then I guess that's like a year and a half of paying what they're paying.
So I
So
was gonna say over time that would.
maybe that needs to
Pay
be
for
brought
itself.
up to the new CAO. Maybe she just doesn't understand or doesn't know that situation. So
Well, and there's no hurt into asking
No,
and
for
looking
sure.
in to see if we can make a difference. If we can, great. If we can't, well.
Good.
All right, let's keep going. So we've got 6A. So this is reserves from, transfer from reserve funds. So we're actually going to skip the electrical capital for East Industrial because it didn't come in time. So we'll start with the first one, electrical capital for Lions Park. Would one of you be willing to, any questions in regards to this before we do this? I feel like we got a lot of information in our background, or it says what it's for, why we're doing it. Go ahead,
Do you-
Councillor Kenley.
can we get an update on? Do we know anything more about this at all?
About which
In
one?
regards
Sorry,
to-
Councillor.
The grants. Like I don't know if I missed
Yeah,
something or
yeah.
So
the
yeah,
waiting game.
I can get you as up to speed as I can as of yesterday. So we are through to the second phase of the CFEP large.
Large. Okay.
And so we have until the end of July to have all the second phase stuff done. We're also applying for the Build Canada Strong grant. It's a federal one. Now, almost everything we've had to do for the Build Canada Strong will just be the same stuff we need for CFEP large. So we're just getting all that together. One of the things we had to do is we had to get a third-party engineer to come do an assessment of the facility and of the grounds and to look at a few things. So we've got all that done. I have that report now. We've submitted that to the grant writer. So we're just tidying up. My next meeting on that is Friday. And we're going to try and have the Build Canada Strong one out by Friday
And
afternoon.
they're for the same project, right?
Correct.
And are
yeah.
they like stackable, or is it like one?
They are
can't get
stackable.
the other? Okay.
Yeah, if we get them both, that's best case scenario. But we also did the Build Canada Strong as a bit of insurance if we don't get CFEP large.
Cool.
So we can still do some of the project. As you've maybe have seen, the project is moving ahead. Concrete's being poured. The building's been gutted. The water, sewer, and electrical connections are all in to the building, and conduit to the score clock area. All that underground stuff is done. So yeah, it's moving forward. Not too bad.
Do you know? Sorry, one more. Do you know if they did any like? I know we talked about the baseball field and this baseball score clock. Was that part of like putting some conduit to there?
So we haven't run it because it's got to go a completely different direction. We just didn't do it
It's
yet.
got to go like to home plate.
But we have that score clock in the Build Canada Strong grant.
Cool.
So we're hoping that comes through too.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do this.
I was gonna have that same question.
No way.
Yeah.
All right, Councillor
then-
Court. Hold on, Councillor Court.
I'm just gonna ask if this is for both these requests that we're gonna vote on.
Yes, we're gonna just do one at a time.
One at a
Sorry,
time.
what do you mean, Counselor?
Well,
There's three or four.
Yeah.
3 or
So
4
we're not
different
doing
things.
number 2.
Golf
So we'll do
transfer,
1, 3, and 4.
recreation reserve.
Just doing number one.
Just do number 1.
Yeah.
We're starting with number
They're
1.
coming
right now.
from and going to different.
I would make
accounts.
that motion then, transfer
Okay.
recreation. And that's council policy for R40, is that correct?
So I'm looking for down in your recommendations, aside from number 2, I've got the exact account numbers and amounts.
You can
All
read
right, I
number
got
1,
you. I
Councillor.
got it, yep.
Go ahead.
Move to transfer $25,000 from account 4-10-268 Parks and Recreation and Culture Reserves to account 2-92-762 Light Capital for the Lions Park Fieldhouse project.
Questions? Seeing none. All in favor? All right, now going to number 3. We've got, this one is in regards to light capital for the East Area industrial lots.
We can switch to 3.
Sorry, 3.
Yeah,
This one
three,
is
Mayor.
moved, right, the $5,000 in regards, this is golf course for number 3. Any questions in regards to this before
I
we
can
make
give
a
a quick
motion?
update on that too if you'd like.
Go ahead.
So the consultant came out. They spent last Monday and Tuesday here. They've emailed me a couple of things that I'm having the golf course get me as far as some last details. I think they got everything they need and they hope to present to you guys next meeting.
Good, awesome. Councillor Johnson.
I'd move to transfer 5,000 from account 4-10-268 to account 2-72-702 golf course materials for the appraisal of the golf course.
Questions? All in favor? And let's go to number 4.
Give it to Gary.
Counselor Selk, did you want to make a motion for the number 4 for the pickleballers? Was this a?
I have a question.
Oh, sorry. Or do
I
we have?
would, but I would, but all of that information I have is I can't hack. I don't have access
Okay.
to it
Okay.
because I'm on my.
No, you're good. Counselor Johnson, go ahead. You've got a question.
So this $3,000 is strictly for the gates, is that all, and not the fencing?
I think it's for the fencing too, isn't it?
Joshua, could you speak
Just
to
the
this?
gates, yeah.
So Counselor Selk is aware as well.
Yeah.
Yes, council. So the question was, is it just for gates or fencing or both? Just for the gates to separate the courts north-south.
Hey.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
So Joshua, did you meet with the pickleballers or talk to them?
Yeah, so
How did this come to be?
the president and vice president of the association, CCPA, met with me a few weeks ago and discussed kind of their wish list, and this was their first priority.
Okay, Counselor Court.
Did they have a second priority?
It's
in between the lanes.
The second priority would have been slats to provide some wind protection from coming from the south.
Okay.
I thought our whole conversation.
Yep, hold on. Counselor Smith?
I was just wondering what kind of gates are there now and why are they looking at new ones?
They're just open spaces for people to walk through. So that interferes with the game, balls getting through those spaces to other courts.
Counselor Kenley?
I was gonna say, I thought our whole conversation about this was the dividers on the courts and not the gates, but I don't know what conversations have been had. Anyways, my opinion is that we just do not do this until I want this all done at once, and I would like the gates and those dividers. I think those are, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I think that was like the biggest thing, but it doesn't sound like it, speaking with the president and the vice president of it. But anyways, I would hold off on doing this until we can do it all together. That's my opinion.
Okay, Counselor Selk. Go ahead.
I agree with I agree with Counselor Kinley. It makes no sense to piecemeal this.
Okay.
And I'm surprised that the Pickleball Association wants to do it with gates. Let's do it all, let's get it done, and let's move on.
Joshua, did you have something to say?
Yes, just so council's aware, the design of the court, there's been some holes pre-drilled in it to separate east and west courts. And those are not intended for chain link fencing. Those are intended for essentially divider nets, because you would need more holes to be drilled to support fencing like that, because you're going to have people bumping into it. So there is much more expense involved if council is looking at kind of replicating that chain link fencing all the way around. And then, you know, it can be done, but there's the danger to the surface in drilling through it now.
So council, I guess the question at the table is, are we directing administration?
Sorry, you good.
Are we directing administration to look into this further? I'm hearing you're not comfortable making this motion and you would like more information in regards to this. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So then let's make a motion to direct administration to do so.
Let's get a.
Do you want to make, go ahead.
I'd make a motion to direct council to look into getting an estimate of the complete project with fencing between east and west courts.
Thank you.
So direct administration. You said direct council, but you meant direct.
Direct
okay.
administration.
Because
Sorry.
I'm busy. Okay, sounds good. Did you Councillor Selk? Does that help? Are you happy? Are you comfortable with that motion, Councillor Kenley?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, good. So let's.
Before you do this, actually, I do want to add one more thing, because I had talked about this maybe privately. I think maybe around the table. If we can add about taking those trees down on the west side of the courts, that seem to give people problems, or the pickleballers problems in the spring and fall, and they say that they don't serve a purpose for shade. Rather, they just make more debris in the early and later. The trees serve no purpose there, and I think they should come down.
Yeah, we can.
Just my opinion.
Okay, we're gonna chew on that one.
Well, it's
Okay.
nothing. Why do we
No.
want those trees?
Beautification.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry.
so motion is on the table. Are you adding to the motion, Counselor? Or are you making a friendly amendment?
I will add that amendment to have them look into a cost to take those down.
Yep. Counselor Johnson, are you accepting?
Yeah, I'll accept that. I do agree with Councillor Kenley on this because after August, we're constantly just cleaning all the time.
Yeah.
On those courts, and it's a real problem.
Okay. Motion on the table. All in favor? Great.
And even during the summer months, we have to sweep and sweep and sweep.
All right, so we're gonna go right to 7A. So this one is committee reports.
Oh, you still have 6B
Or
and
sorry.
C.
Oh, I sure do. Oh man,
Well, I
was whipping through
appreciate
these.
your expediency.
Okay, 6B, Golf Association. Yes, go ahead on this one.
So, council, in your package is a backgrounder on a conceptual potential agreement between the town and an association. The first thing I did in that was kind of do a list of major responsibilities and who would be responsible for what, and then I kind of went through and thought, how would we mock up an agreement? Now, there was a few items highlighted in yellow because I was looking for particularly feedback on those items, but I was telling the mayor this earlier as I read through this again. So after it was kind of all done and I read through it again, I thought, I'm wondering, especially for a couple of you counselors that are particularly interested in this, is it deferring is the wrong word. Is it transferring enough responsibility to the association, or is it effectively just a little more glorified than what we have now? Was the question. And so I'm totally looking for that feedback. That's kind of where my head's at right now. And as we all know, the trick with this is delineating responsibilities. We've got to get that right. Yeah. And so at first I was like, yeah, this works. And then I read it again and thought, maybe it accomplishes what we're after. So I am seeking some input on that, council, for what you think, how we should delineate that stuff.
Okay, Councillor Smith.
Now, just as an outsider looking at it, my thought when I read it was that it still has the town having a lot of responsibilities.
Okay, Councillor, anybody else? Councillor Johnson.
At first blush, I liked what I saw on the surface, but then after reading it the second time, I thought exactly that. Yeah. In that it's just a little bit more. And I would just need to be comfortable knowing that the Golf Association has the authority to make change when necessary on the operations of the course. And that is dealing with personnel, that's dealing with the workers, that's dealing with, the Clubhouse Pro. I did not like the idea of the manager being just directly under you. Okay. And I don't know why that would be different. What was your philosophy on that?
So it was at the last meeting I took away, and I understood this, I took away that we were really wanting to delineate staffing and keep that firmly within the town. And from a number of legal, policy, safety, WCB frameworks, that makes sense to me. It just became difficult to say, okay, well, how many bosses does this person have? Who do they report to? Who are they accountable to? So yeah, I need to have more of that conversation. I want to figure this out a little bit. So I did have that very much staying, no, it reports to the CAO, but takes some feedback from the association. But then the association really is looking like an advisory board, which is what we have now if we wish to utilize them more. Right. So, when you look at, the mayor and I were talking about this, I got McGrath's agreement from the town of McGrath. Now that's the pendulum swung as far as you can to one side. So the association is a corporation under the Societies Act. They are the employer. They hold a $1 a year lease from the town. The town has no other fiscal or HR obligations towards that golf course whatsoever. None. Aside to go get their dollar every year. That's it. I mean, there's a few things about how the town can have one fundraising tournament a year at a discounted rate. There's a couple of those little things, but that's where the association is a corporation and takes care of payroll, discipline, hiring, firing, all the obligations that go with that. From the town's point of view, wonderful, right? Because the corporation's a legal entity and they're the employer. There was some caution around that, rightfully so, by the way, of structuring this that way. But, and I appreciate Councillor Johnson. First read, it made sense in my head. Second read, I was like, I don't know. I don't know where we want to go with this. So no, I totally welcome that. I don't have a line in the sand that I'm not willing to entertain moving this, but we just need to be careful that the line of direction is clear when we have staff at that course, and who can direct them and discipline them and that kind of thing.
Councillor Winder.
So what would be the negatives of us doing something the way McGrath is doing it then? Like is there
Yep.
negatives of why
Yep.
we wouldn't want to do it that way?
There's risk. I would say, and I don't mean to sound pessimistic here, but please hear me out. I don't think our course, so the association is fully responsible for all the financial aspects of that course, including capital replacement. Our course, I do not think, generates enough cash to be responsible for capital replacement. They would always be coming back to the town and saying, hey, we need some money. And then you as councillors saying, you want hundreds of thousands of dollars and we have no say, we have no control over your spending. We don't have control over how you're operating. Maybe you're running poorly and we're having to prop you up all the time. Those are all those risks, right? It's not likely. I'm just saying those risks exist, where I don't think our course can generate enough cash to fund capital. And they'll always have to come to the town for that. Okay. So the question is, how much say do you want about how it's operated if you're going to be perpetually propping it up financially?
Okay.
So I would agree that when I read this, I right away picked up on, I was the counselor in my first term that was on the board for the golf course. And just reading this, I was like, well, that's already what we were doing. It felt very familiar to me. I didn't feel like, oh, wow, this is totally different. So I felt like this is something that's pretty much already in action when it's up and running. Although it's not running right now, so go ahead.
One thing that makes a difference here, and I wanted to ask thoughts if anyone is thinking about this differently than me. Do you, even individually, do you see this as a committee of council or an association? Because an association it's its own legal entity. It files a return. It does all that stuff. So the question is, are we creating an independent legal entity with which we're giving responsibility? Or is it simply a more formal committee of council? Because that matters a bunch. Mm-hmm. And I would welcome kind of where you all see maybe where that should land.
Councillor?
I would like to know what Councillor Johnson, Councillor Kenley think of that.
Not the rest of you, just
I agree with you.
I think I expressed last time that I prefer this hybrid approach, this committee of council looking entity rather than a full-blown association to begin with.
Okay.
Just to see how we can function if we give this committee a little bit more authority to make decisions on the operations, the groundskeeping, things like that, and then let's build from there. That's kind of my approach, and so I like the committee of council approach first.
Okay.
And so if I can, so on that, would it have like two counselors, like more counselors, and then a few hand-selected
Hand-picked
locals, essential? Okay.
Never put some money in, right?
Yeah.
You buy your way onto the committee. Let's not do that, Councillor.
Other than that idea.
No, I
dismissed that one.
Kind of like I said last time we talked about this, it's just, again, it's nothing against Jeff, but there's this aura that Jeff runs the golf course and he doesn't like the golf course. And I just think we need to.
You guys would just give me more money. I'll do whatever you want.
No. It's just the thought out there, and I'm trying to play counselor and golfer, and I think that I worry that if we let a board away from the council take this over, that it could get in the wrong hands down the road, and then it's just issues can arise. And I think that council and the administration should have some finger in it, because at the end of the day, the town is backing this, and they're the ones that are funding it. I want this hybrid where the association is making the decisions, is basically like having more say in actually operational things. But I don't know how to find the middle ground of, I don't want to deal with, or whoever's on the board doesn't want to deal with the HR side of things. But I don't know how you find that high, like, how do I say, Jeff, we want to hire this guy, but we want you to take care of the hiring, and where we want him regardless of what you think of him.
Yeah.
Like, how do we find, and we want to pay him this much, and we want to, like, how do we find that middle ground?
Sure.
You know? So we do have Councillor
Yeah,
Winder. Do
please.
you want to answer
No,
that one though?
No, I'll come back. Go ahead. I'll come
Let's
back
have you answer
Okay.
it, and then.
Yeah, all great points, because they're all going through my head too. So I was up at the course today. I met with both grounds and with Sandy, and we were talking. I was getting their opinion on, what would you guys think about this? And it was funny, just as a joke, one of the kids that was working was like, well, if so and so gets on the board, I'm going to get fired. And I'm like, maybe.
But that's a terrible, like,
and
why
is
is he saying that to himself?
Well, but
So
he's
is he
just
guilty of
saying
something?
that those workers have like some fairly consistent conflict with some of the members, and they know they don't like each other. And I said, look, we're looking to delineate this responsibility between, the HR. Now, to your point, Councillor, I think I put it in this. If I didn't, it was in my head. Now I need to scroll here and see. But my thought on some of that was, with the key positions, and we would identify those, I think it would be completely reasonable that the board is represented in the interview.
Yeah.
So, if we're hiring a pro.
Which we currently are, we do help even with our current. Like,
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
wanted to
When
say-
we've done it before, I brought in some board members, sat in, and so that say was there. Now, did I have the trump card in that? Yeah, I did, for sure. But I think you were involved in most of those, and we were always in agreement with who it was.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, well, Jeff wants this person because of this, and we all want this. We never had that, thankfully, knock on wood. So my thought was, does the board need to be involved with 90% of the seasonal staff up there? Essentially you take applications, you're interviewing college kids, high school kids, they're pretty young kids. There's no work experience there. You're kind of judging by if you think they'll work well, and you go ahead. Like, is that something the board even wants to be involved in? And maybe the answer is yes, and I don't really care. But I think in those key positions, we could make it very clear that, the board is represented and is involved in that hiring. But, we can't, it's very difficult to set up a situation to say, hey, you're an employee of the town. I manage the staff of the town, but you got to listen to these volunteers as well on this committee. And at the end of the day, that person's saying, well, who can fire me? Who is it? Can Councillor Johnson, as a member of that board, fire me? No, he can't. Oh, okay. Well, can Joe Citizen, who's on that board, can he? No. And, if we're going to have the town retain control of the HR, then the town needs to, in some ways, have control of the HR. Now, what I would love to see from my point of view, and I think I made that clear in here, is I'd love to see where this board is coming to me in September or October and saying, hey, we've met 3 times. We've looked at what we want to do next year. Here's what we're going to need. We think we're going to need this many people. And you can figure out what that's going to cost. We would like to see rates go to here. This is our direction. We want to see this done. Here's our capital that we think we need. And then I bring that to you and say, this is what the board's requesting. It does take Jeff out of the equation for those that think I'm there just to, poo-poo anything that comes forward for the golf course. And then it sits at council's table, because what you're going to find, and I think we all know this, especially the first couple of years, that wish list is going to be way bigger than what you as a group collectively may be willing to fund. But sorry, back to the staffing. It's a fine line there. We have to be really careful how we approach that one, because again, whose safety policies are they working under? Who's WCB? Who's OH&S stuff? Like, someone has to take responsibility for that, and I can't take responsibility for another entity's people and their policy and all that other stuff. So we just have to work through that a little bit. And are they on our seasonal pay grid? So are all those staff there, are they on the town seasonal pay grid or are they not? Is there a special one for the golf course? There can be, but all that stuff's currently in place. We'd have to work through.
Okay. We're gonna go to Councillor Winder. Do you remember the
I think so.
question?
I think I was just gonna say, from what I'm hearing, we wanna be able to keep like our fingers on the pulse of the golf course as a council, but we also don't want to have every decision come back to council before they can make, do some change or do some things at the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't take a long time to get some things done or get things changed. And that's, I'm just mostly just, is that
Summarizing.
kind of what we're hearing?
I like the idea of the policy of the operations sitting at the table of the committee.
Yeah.
I actually do like that idea.
Councillor Smith, did you have your hand up?
Well, I don't know if this is helpful or not, but I know my kids worked on golf courses in Calgary a lot, and they were always hired by the golf manager, the manager on site
Yep,
of the golf
for sure.
club. And I don't know what that worked, but I know that he would have followed all the policies and procedures of the board at the time.
Right.
So I don't know what kind of a structure that's called or anything like that, but that worked really well.
And to be fair, I don't hire and interview the kids that work at the golf course. I don't even know who they are. I just, if they need help and there's an exception or they're having problems, they'll call me in. But no, our supervisor staff, management staff take care of that for sure.
So then when it says, sorry, here, when it says here, HR policies, that the town is responsible for that, it's not, it is or it isn't?
Well, in this case, the hybrid system would say it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Councillor Court, you had your hand up?
Black Sands, how does this compare? Where are we at? What did Black Sands do? They just ran it for 7 years and did their own thing? I mean,
Yeah.
I was on council then. I know what was going on.
So they started a corporation, so they had their own legal entity. That corporation was the employer. They did CRA, they did WCB, they did all the insurance. So yeah, that was actually quite nice for me.
Yeah, they ran out of money.
And we knew it was a mess at the end, right? So when you and the fact of the matter is, you even look at like the McGraths of the world, those $1 leases. At some point, that may have to change, and those are a messy time. You'll remember, Councillor, when we were trying to finish that contract with Black Sands, there was a lot of contention around asset value at the end of the term of the contract and the securities in place to cover that. So those things, but no, Black Sands hired their own people. They took care of everything.
How long ago was that?
Hold on,
now?
sorry.
Yeah.
Councillor Kenley?
I think what we really want is, well, what I want, I'm not gonna say we, but I just think I would like the ability, or whoever's on that board at the time, to have a say in like priorities and have a say in we need to do this, this, and this. But then it comes back to, well, who's gonna fire me if I don't listen to you? And so that's where it's you. And so it's like, hey Jeff, this board's telling me to do this. I don't want to do it. It's like, how do you find the fine line of listening to the board, but the board can't fire me?
Yeah, otherwise the board is impotent. They can't do anything.
And how does this compare? Like, how does not to bring the library up, but how do they run? Aren't they kind of like, they give us a budget that we have to approve?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like there's that aspect of it? But again, I just think it's priorities and decisions that we would like to give, the golf manager and the grounds guy, and be like, this, and this need to be done, kind of thing, instead of, I don't know. You can add to what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just think we, as who are out there quite often and golf with a lot of different people, we hear a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it's legit, some of it's not.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to have the ability to have that board be able to immediately jump on an issue rather than having to wait a week before they can talk to you and then it comes back. And like we see things every day. Why isn't this done? Why isn't that done?
The little things that you don't want to
The
deal
little
with.
things that just make.
I said, I'm not trying to hold any of this in my possession.
No.
Let me be clear.
But to the workers out there, it's what Jeff wants. Like, not what Jeff wants. It's what I just need to report to Jeff, and I don't need to listen to you members out here.
Sure.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we need that a little bit of authority to be able to make sure that they understand they need to listen to that board.
I'm gonna make a recommendation.
Okay.
Councillor Winder, you had something you wanted to add?
Nope,
You
I'm
had your
good.
hand up. You're
I'm
good.
good.
Any other questions in regards to this? I really feel like I hear what you're saying. I think that if, in fact, we had a high functioning committee, which we haven't in years, no offense to the rest of us, but I wasn't a golfer and I was on it. And I think if we had a committee, like you're saying, that could make decisions and do all the things, I think we would see a big turnaround quickly, I think is your outcome you're looking for, right?
When you mean, what do you mean? Well, I think what we have is not what we need.
That's the point.
That's what you're getting at?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Can I make
Go
a
ahead.
recommendation? Well, I think that it would be nice if maybe, and whoever wants to come or join with us, like me and Councillor Johnson, to maybe go sit down with Jeff and maybe like tweak this up
So
a little
make
bit.
that in your recommendation.
I will. I'm just,
Yep.
before I say it, is it
Yep.
everyone cool with that? Okay, I'll just make a motion that we'll have Councillor Johnson and Councillor Kenley meet with administration to go over the governance discussion, presentation, and tweak it, and come back at our next meeting with a updated updated.
A governance model.
Yeah,
or
that.
something? Okay.
Sounds good. Questions? Sorry, go ahead.
Something of, and I'm just thinking through this, previous council, so I think it was just the last one.
Mhm.
We saw, what you said, Councillor Johnson, tweaked my memory about being able to adjust to things quickly. The fees and charges at the golf course used to be a council policy.
Mhm.
So what was happening is, we took it back over from Black Sands, and we were doing our thing, and if we even wanted to run a promotion, I was in violation of the policy. And I came to council and said, look, can we make that an administrative policy so that I can just approve it from time to time? And I think that, like what you were saying, is that ability to move quicker when we need to do certain things. The question is, how do we best that with the group? But I do think there's a way, but that policy got me thinking about that. We ran into this. Well, we want to do this. Well, council's in a month, and I can take that for an amendment, and then they can direct me to investigate it further, and then I'll take it back to the next one. And then when the season's over, you can change that rate. And not to, I exaggerate that a little bit. Council was always very cooperative, but I think that same principle applies here a little bit, that let you move a little bit more quickly. Okay.
But it's not even
So
things like that. It's things like, can we fix the sprinkler head that's been leaking for 3 months? That's now causing tremendous damage, and there's no way they're not seeing it. But why wasn't it done yesterday? Things like that. It's like we'd like to be able to, as a governance board, direct and be like, tomorrow, can you please fix this?
And
Okay, so
that's the thing, if I might, that kind of worries me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you find this?
Because now the one super is getting 7 different people saying, that's my personal priority and you need to fix it.
But I don't want it to be personal. I want it to be like, I want it to be those problems to come to a board and be like, are we okay with this? And then as a board, it's yes, this should be a priority. Like that's, anyways. We can move on.
Motion on the table. I feel like that is part of the bigger conversation.
Yeah.
When you sit down with administration. Question?
I'm just wondering about the board composition. Is that a discussion for later times, or are we happy with what's written here?
No, they're gonna sit down and they'll go over
Okay.
it. Yeah. Okay, motion on the table. All in favor? Good. Now let's. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. C. We're gonna go to 6CI. So this is Leonard Nichols came to council with his pitch. Administration is seeking input on this matter.
If I might, Mayor, just a quick summary.
Go ahead.
We ran into this actually just last week, but now that we're doing more underground, we're concerned about the responsibility for the line from the property line to the home, because people are building infrastructure between the property line and the home, and we're looking to move that responsibility to the homeowner. That way, if we've got to tear up a cement patio, or it's under a deck, or there's a garage there. Now, the challenge for you politically is that could get very expensive for homeowners if there's a problem. And we already do that, though, with water and sewer. So water and sewer, the ownership is already delineated and it's all off property or at property. And so we're not seeking that for overhead, we're seeking that for underground. And before we formalize that bylaw, I just want to make sure that if there's concerns about that, we address that now.
Council, go ahead.
Homeowner, like a homeowner would be aware of this, right? Like, hey, if you need this teared up or whatever, like you're on the hook for this replacement of sidewalk. Like, it's not we're doing this and here's a bill, right?
Yeah, so how it would work, say, with the other utilities is we would go in and say, okay, you know, here's the issue, here's how it has to be remedied. We're going to give you a work order with a quote on it. You're going to have to accept that and sign off on it before we commence with the work. Yeah, I mean, there's some emergent stuff, you know, you get a call out in the night and you got to dig on something because you got a geyser, and we work through that. But no, generally we would provide a quote before we commence with work.
Then just to finish, I think I'm fine with this. I think if it falls with what we've been doing with other utilities, that it should be fine.
Yeah, I agree. Council, any of the rest of you have problems with this? Councilor Court.
Expenses, I mean, you said it could be quite expensive for a homeowner. They have to have this underground line and they have no other option.
So in new developments, that would be their only option.
Developments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's right. Because new residential is now underground.
I gotcha.
I would
Okay,
say
that's-
80% of the town is still above. It's still overhead.
Okay.
And that's not going to change anytime soon, by the way. To convert old infrastructure to underground is incredibly expensive.
So this is for new builds then, okay.
So I guess, are you wanting us to direct
Just
administration?
if there's,
Just informational?
if
for
you
now?
are sitting saying, no, we're not prepared to do that, we don't like the political ramifications, fine, we'll pause. Otherwise, I'll bring you a bylaw amendment that you can debate at the time.
Council shaking of heads if you support administration looking more into this. Yeah, I would.
You're not obligated to adopt the bylaw I bring to you, but I'll bring you
Yeah,
a bylaw that you
Let's
can
find out
debate. Yeah.
information on it. I think that's wise.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so the next one we're talking about in closed session, so we'll go right to 7. So this is committee reports. Just go there.
Summer usually.
Yeah.
The
Councilor
library is
Court?
thrilled that you fixed the sidewalk over there.
Oh, good.
So,
That's awesome. It's those little things that matter. Hey,
Yes.
are there any questions in regards to your, if you've read over the committee reports? I didn't have any questions. I just like reading through them. Go ahead.
but the breakfast covered, you've enough people for that?
Yeah, so we have the MOU breakfast. Well, first of all, we have the powwow is tomorrow down at Lions Park-ish, pending weather. If it's not there, then it's going to be at the ice rink. We'd love to have as many of you to come if you can. There's 2. The first one is at noon and the second one is at 6. So if you could be there, that'd be great. And then secondly, we've got our MOU breakfast. So that will be all the members of the MOU will be coming to stand off for Kainai Days. And we'll be there at 8 o'clock, setting up and then feeding people at 9 o'clock. Usually we feed about 800 people in 2 hours. So that's going to be fun. Anyway, that's moving right along. We're going to go into project reports.
Mayor, if I could just speak to
Go
that.
ahead.
That's in front of you, Council. It's not on your electronic. Brandon was away when I was away, and so he just got this done for me today. If I could, Mayor, because we've got time before the public hearing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on a couple of items.
Yeah.
So the servicing has started on the east side for the Franksville School, and then eventually those east lots.
Yeah.
So that's getting going right now. The filter 1 system replacement was finished last week. So if you remember, we had to come get a transfer of reserves because the backwash filters were completely plugged under the first media filter. So the good news is that got done. The bad news is they dug out some of 2, and it looks like it's the same problem in 2, 3, and 4. So we'll be coming back to you when we talk about capital next year for doing some of that. But that took that was like 6 months to get that product here. So finally that landed and that got done. So we're happy about that. So in this high demand season for water, they can get the media back in there and using all 4 of those filters. The vault that will go down by No Frills, that will be monitoring the effluent from the Blood Tribe under that new agreement. It arrives
Today?
today. Yep, the 14th. So that vault is to arrive today. We thought we could get one off the shelf. We had to have it custom made, so it just took a while. Paving on 6th Street and down by McDonald's is ongoing. I wanted to show on number 5, Brandon gave me these pictures. You'll see I have some pictures in behind. This is what a epoxy lining looks like in 2 of the locations. So we did not dig up this line this year. We did an epoxy liner in it. On the top, the before and after, you can see the service connection coming in from the left side. And then on the epoxy, you can see where it's nice and cut out cleanly there, and that service connection still falls in. And then you can see on the bottom where the clay tile has shifted, and then when you epoxy it, it's one continuous piece. So this will be we're going to monitor that quite closely. That was a much more affordable option than a complete dig up and replace. And the amount of time that the road's out of service, you dig one hole in one end, one hole in the other end, and away you go. So, and then they can go in with a robot and clean and drill all the connections out again.
Of course we can.
So they measure those with a bit of a robot, and then it goes in and routers them out. So he just wanted to show you kind of how that went. They think that was a good thing. He talked about the library stairs, the water, sewer, electrical to the new change rooms at Lions Park is done, and the under drain. Again, I'm skipping over some little stuff here, but is there any questions on capital projects or anything that I can hopefully answer for you? If not, I can email you tomorrow.
Doesn't look like it. So let's move on. So we've got 10 minutes. Let's go to 9. So this is the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. This is the notice of grant. Bring it up.
I'm wondering, Mayor, Councillor Kenley, yourself, do you know the nature of that project? It was fairly vague on efficiency measures.
They're just looking into, like, I believe this is to look into like a start of a retrofit of the, it's like a retro expansion of the lodge.
Okay.
So it's the $250,000. That's what it was for.
Yeah.
Engineering and studies.
Yeah, I think so. Councillor Selk, am I speaking right on that?
I thought it was some efficiencies and replacements of windows and such. But as far as the actual lodge, I don't think that this was going to go towards that. They had applied for this. They had applied for this long before we were on that.
Okay.
So
Okay, yeah.
fruition.
That could be it. There is another grant that maybe that's what I'm thinking this is for that retro stuff. So.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions? We've still got.
We'll take an 8-minute recess and then.
Now let's go ahead and do that.
I'll make a motion to take a 8-minute break.
Awesome. All in favor? And then when we come back. What's wrong? All in favor? Thank you. So we're going to go right into our public hearing. So this is, we will be talking about two bylaws today. So the first, yes. I'm just talking, yes.
Okay.
It's coming. It's coming. I'm just letting the people know because there's so many here that we're going to be speaking in our public hearing in regards to two bylaws. So can I have a motion? Go ahead, Counselor.
Make a motion that we go into the public hearing on the land use bylaw. Yeah.
On both of them? Yep. All in favor? Perfect.
Bylaws.
Thank you. So we're going to start with the first one. So this bylaw amendment is for 1647U. Just letting the public know that we also have online open. So you are more than welcome to ask questions in regards to this. We've got online and in person. So go ahead.
Okay, so this is a public hearing for both 1647U and 1647V. Based on the gallery, I'm going to deal with 1647U first because I think it'll be quite quick. 1647U is making changes to the land use bylaw to distinguish between attached and freestanding solar collectors and to classify attached solar collectors, for example, roof mounted, as a permitted use in land use districts, and freestanding solar collectors, i.e. ground mounted, would be discretionary use in the land use districts. And then there was a number of just grammatical wording things in there that didn't change the intent of it. So fairly minor changes. This is something that's come from the MPC based on recent applications. We received no feedback. We received no letters. We received no one wishing to speak to the matter. And again, knowing the gentlemen in the gallery, they're not here as far as I know to speak about solar, but Mayor, I'll leave that up to you to ask. So unless there's any questions about 1647U, I'll leave that for your discussion.
So just to be clear, no one in the gallery is speaking towards solar? No? We have nobody online? No? Okay, we're going to move right through.
Okay.
Thank you.
So 1647V, council was given this for first reading last meeting. This is changing, sorry, let me go back here. This is to allow, change the zoning on the lots that are identified in your backgrounder at commonly known as 841 Main Street, from drive-in highway commercial C2 to manufactured home community residential R2C to facilitate the development of the lands in compliance with the bylaw. I do want to mention something because this is a new zoning. This would be our first parcel zone to that zoning. You are debating and discussing the appropriateness of rezoning it tonight. You are not debating and discussing necessarily the merits of the development. So you're not deciding whether or not Mr. Atkins is getting a development permit, for example. So, and if there needs to be discretion, that'll go to the Planning Commission. But right now you're starting just with, is this an appropriate zone for that location? And I say that not to be condescending, but just sometimes we get very much caught up in what's it going to look like and what's it going to be and what's the color of everything.
Sorry, we just have the file. We can't bring it up
Yeah,
all
we
of a
can't bring the
sudden.
file up.
So they're trying to bring it up and it won't bring
okay.
up. So we just need a second.
Yours up, Mayor?
Mine is, but
Okay.
theirs
Something
isn't.
went wrong.
So some of you
I
and
just want
some
to make sure
others,
that we all
okay.
have the information in front of us. So just bear with us for
Yeah,
just a
for
minute.
sure. Yeah, take
Let's
your
have to
time.
re-sign it.
Under 5A, right?
It's 404, file not found. Is that?
Yeah, that's what he's got. Is that what you have?
Yeah.
So log out, completely out, and then go back in.
Okay, I tried that a couple times.
Oh, there we go.
Shut her down.
5B. Work.
Right.
We started it.
Okay, we're good.
I do
Hold
remember
on.
it.
Good.
Just let us know.
I just logged out, so.
You bet.
Because I remember what
You're good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's important for council to note we advertised this. We also sent out notice to the adjacent properties. We received no feedback from any of the adjacent properties on this proposal. So I have nothing to present to you as far as feedback from the neighbors. I would assume Shem, still no one online. Okay, and so I'll leave it to you, Mary. You do have a couple people in the gallery that probably are interested in speaking to it.
Odds are good.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Atkins, come on up. Welcome.
I wanted to start by apologizing for not understanding that we were doing the first reading last time, and so I was jabbering away all kinds of things.
Now's your moment.
But I think that there is some value in giving some background to what we're doing here. I think that most of you are aware that I own the old dairy and the subdivision that's adjacent on the golf course. Prior to now, Black Card Construction were involved in trying to purchase all the lands of the dairy for their project. They are now winding up, and so I'm going in a different direction. And so I'll just give you a little bit of a preface on this, because this is just the first stage of about 4 things that I'm going to bring before you. Now, this particular parcel, as you can see, coming off of the bottom, which is the main street, the existing road cut at the curb, but the entire property is treed with mature trees and goes all the way around it and is completely controlled with mature trees. There are 6 openings that are already natural in terms of the grass areas, and it's my intent. I guess I'm looking forward to the time when you're going to be, the town or the hospital or the rehab center are going to be looking to attract medical people from outside of the community. And in that regard, I think we all understand the fact that we don't have any I guess I'll call it that we don't have any
Rentals.
There's no inventory. And without the inventory and the fact that the small town that we have, there's going to be some reluctance on the part of anyone moving in on a forced basis, but on the basis of medical people who, and if they're here, they'll forgive me for telling them that most doctors have never heard the word no in their lifetime. And having said that, going through the process that I have with the $5 million in the ground on the subdivision, and surrounded by the creek and the golf course, I've been at a disadvantage in competing with the town of Cardston with the subdivisions that you've been working on, where there is a certain amount of subsidy. I think most of those now have been absorbed. Mm-hmm. So I think that as we go through this, we're going to be looking at maybe 20 or 30 medical people from physicians to nurses and other medical people. My thought here is, first of all, this particular property allows me to go ahead and take advantage of the location. It is screened by its natural trees, has a good view of Old Chief and so on. And at the same time, I can put 5 or 6 units in here that would be rental units. And these rental units would be prefabricated, that will have some input into the design of. There's a couple of companies in Calgary that my son is connected with, and they can actually take one of these and ship it to the site and actually install it so that it's operational almost in the day. Now, my thought here is that during the process of people coming, inspecting our town and deciding where and if they want to live here, that fortuitously the subdivision that I have, which has been non-competitive, as I said, the lots in there are 1/2 to 3/4 of an acre. We've got a 100-year forest. We've got the golf course. We've got the 100 feet below the wind line, and we've also got a private road system. So it couldn't be more ideal as a separate entity, if you like, for these medical people moving into town. Now, obviously, over the time period of building the hospital, You're already aware of the problems that may be faced by the rehab center in attracting people, and also so they've had a very limited use of their facility so far. But I think that fortuitously that we've ended up with, as I said, you've got the recreation, you've got the water, you've got the wind control, you've got the trees, and you've got the large lots. So I think that we will appeal very much to the people that do come in. Now, because of my concentration, if you like, with Black Card previously in terms of their interests and what they were trying to do, I had come to Cardston really thinking that I might be able to provide some things that the town didn't have. As I exposed myself to their project, it seemed to me that if they were successful, could have more impact on the town than I ever would have in the time that I have left. And so, as it turns out, though, I'm going to be coming back before you now with about 5 different applications. This one being the first one, and with the rental units in here, the good part about this is that people who decide to come and build their own home, design, or if they go to a craftsman for their projects solutions, they'll be able to live in these places, become acclimatized to the town, and at the same time have their home under construction very close. Now, I'm going to be coming back. All of the land between the triplex that was the old New to You building that I'm currently living in, between there and the creek, there's quite a bit of space in there, and I'm intending to come back and have the same conversation with you with respect to prefabricated homes on the east side of the creek. We can be looking at something in the order of $300,000 to $400,000 for a home in a 12 to 2,000 square foot range, and that's a market that is not being satisfied in the town as well. So really, what I'm saying to you is that medical people will appreciate the location and all of the amenities that go with it. They will appreciate that they can have a temporary residence, that they can keep their own control under construction, and at the same time, when they're finished, they can either use that home for their own extended family or for their own purposes or for rentals. And it'll give them an opportunity to have an investment in the town. So these are some of the things that I've got in mind, and this being the first one is a rental unit, but it would still be possible to purchase and operate one of these on your own. But between here and the east side of the creek, there would be additional numbers along there in the trees and so on. But I will come back to you with separate proposals on those other things and see what your thoughts are in returning to those. In any case, we're at the point now where if we get this approved, that we will put in a couple of units immediately, and then we'll gradually fill it up. The only one that would be exposed to visibility of the town is the one at the bottom, number 1. Most of you, I didn't remember this when I was a kid. I didn't remember there was anybody there. But in actual fact, there was a home in that location on lot 1. And apparently the trees were very well manicured and looked after, and there is infrastructure already showing on the site. One of the things that we did with the town that was beneficial with Jeff and other people, when we did service the subdivision, the servicing goes to 9th Avenue, goes under the creek, goes straight back onto a road alongside of the apartment building, and then it goes to 3rd. And so it's already pre-serviced. So all of that area in there has already got all of the services available, and that will be beneficial to both of us. in any case, this is the first one, and as we get the surveying done on the rest of them so that we can show you what they'll really look like, we'll get back to you and see what your input is and what your thoughts are.
Thank you. So I'm going to open to questions
Mhm.
from my council. Go ahead, Councillor Kenley.
So you said, at first you said rentals, but then you said there was a cost to the building. Now, is it your purpose to rent them and be a landlord, or is your purpose to sell these?
Both. The ones on the creek, our purpose there would be to sell them.
We're speaking to
These in this particular unit, we would prefer to have as rental units, but they could be sold if it was necessary. But obviously that might take a different stance in terms of the land use and that sort of thing. But at this point, these are just for rental. The ones on the creek would be for sale.
Okay. Councillor Johnson.
Does it make any difference to the actual bylaw whether they're sold or owned or rented?
I don't have a microphone, so Councillor still can't hear me. Can I share the podium with you for a second, Gordon?
You bet.
Okay, thank you. So under this zoning, you know what, Councillor, I want to drill down on that just a little bit, but under this zoning, I believe it's perfectly fine if they're all owned by one entity. I think that was some of the intent of the zone as a planned community. But I'm not sure in any zone if ownership or rental is relevant.
No, that's my question.
Yeah. I can't think of a situation where that's relevant for zoning.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll double check, Counselor, but I can't think of a situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other
bylaw? Sorry.
any other questions?
So,
Go ahead.
just can you give a strict definition of what a pre-manufactured home is for me?
Speak right into the mic. There you go.
I'm more concerned about my hearing than yours. The two pre-manufactured homes that we've been looking at, one of them is manufactured entirely out of steel. And it's manufactured in such a way that it actually folds up on itself, and it's just visually like a bus on the highway. And so they can bring it down, unfold it, hook it up to utilities, and it's a go. The other one is an all wood structure, and they have the insulation in the wood gives us a little bit more to play with in terms of how we influence them relative to windows, locations. Most of these will not have basements. Yeah, in fact, if I had my druthers, none of them would have any basements. But in any case, there would be a carport and that sort of thing, so that these homes are extremely well done, and the finishes are there, the accommodation, and you can go 2 or 3 or 4 bedrooms, and anyway, I don't know if that answered your question.
And if I could,
Go ahead.
Can I throw in one thing?
Sure.
Councillor Johnson, in particular, what a prefab home is not in these circumstances is a mobile home. So obviously the way the bylaw is drafted, and I highly recommend, and I love the idea that unlike some of the other small towns in the area, you have a bylaw that in effect prohibits mobile homes and or a mobile home park. Most people would have no idea that it's prefab. They would just think it's a normal house. In fact, without being overly out of towner, very nice and much nicer than some of the houses that I've seen around. Let's say up by where the church is at the top of Main Street, and then go down that. There are some mobile homes on that one street that are unfortunately deteriorated. Mm-hmm. So that's not even a possibility.
Councillor Court.
I'm a visual learner. Do you have any pictures of these things? Good.
The one thing that I will mention here, and that is that an architect has got some criticism with respect to the ultimate look of these facilities. And at the same time, they've allowed us to say that we would have the impact that we'd like to in terms of window placement, entry placement, relationship to carports, that sort of thing, and also the texture of the materials that are there. So we'll be working on them.
Charles.
Any other questions while he's looking this up? Go ahead.
So the area that you're talking about is from the black house that you live in.
So so he's talking about two different
To the-
locations. The first one, Counselor Smith, he's talking to is right at the top of the hill.
Right.
So that's the first one into all the trees. That's the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second development he's speaking to is exactly where you're saying, right where his house is right now, going to the creek.
We're just dealing with both of them for zoning today.
Agreed. Yes.
That's correct.
Awesome.
Do you want to just email them to us?
Yeah, why don't I do that?
Let's do that.
Okay.
But I can show you one. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that.
I wasn't getting onto the
Okay.
Wi-Fi. So they're, obviously the target market is what we're trying to appeal is, I was gonna make a couple of statements after. Sorry for approaching.
No, you're good. I'll have you just speak to the,
Yeah.
I've got a counselor.
Then it will be
There you go.
recorded.
Thank you.
The idea here is, part of the idea here, and is my father and I are attempting, and I'm inserting myself in this equation, one, to help my father sell some of his very expensive dog park. And it's by coincidence, as you know, that the town is right now, it has a beautiful opportunity with the regional hospital that's being built. And I'm also have some contacts with the Blood Reserve. I had built some prefab homes with them with Mike Holmes 10 years ago. And they opened that very expensive center, as you know, and there's only 3 patients in it. And I've had many conversations. No doctor or administrator wants to live on the reserve presently because they don't have a proper community. And so what the idea here is to provide housing, everything from executive housing down to janitor housing, in effect, maybe across the creek, and to provide it with homes that are built to a certain standard, particularly because there's also a shortage of building and companies and whatever else here. So that's why we're going in the prefab direction. But I can assure council that the 100% concern I would have is this idea of a mobile home or trailer park, and that will not be happening in this circumstance.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Did you have any more that you had to say, either one of you? Now's your moment.
I had nothing to say about by the bylaw, but as you know, Madam Mayor, I was asking if I could address council.
So please, absolutely, go
Okay.
ahead.
So, as you know, my family has had a very long history here in Cardston, and I also have a long history. I remember my grandfather giving me a dime to go to Ken's to buy candy that I can't name anymore, but every summer from the early 70s until the 80s. And so what I want you to understand is, while I may act and look like a lawyer from Toronto, I have some Cardston in me. Okay?
Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you in our community, and we're excited to have you back. So thank you. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Any questions before we do that? Were there any more questions? No? Motion on the table? All in favor? Perfect. All right, we're going to continue on. So we're going to zigzag back here a little bit. So we're going to go back to 5A. So bylaw amendment 1647U. This is land use bylaw. Consider further readings. I know.
Funny.
I do. I'm just bringing it up.
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Go ahead. Mine's not
This
bringing it up
this
now.
is 40. No, this is I'm on the wrong one. Sorry.
47
Yeah.
U, right?
The U one.
Yep.
Yep.
Mine's gone.
Mine's
Go
gone
ahead.
too.
Go ahead,
Motion
Councilor
motion for the bylaw amendment 1647U,
Mine's gone too.
second reading.
Sorry, it's not in front of me, so just
Thank you.
let's just bear with me for a minute here. I need to bring it up.
There's mine. Where mine went.
All right. Let's see if it brings it up. Yep, there's mine. Okay. So, Counselor, we've got a motion on the table to move the reading of 1647V, second reading. You. Is that a U?
You're right.
Okay. Yep. All in favor? Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve third reading of bylaw amendment 1647U.
Thank you. Questions? All in favor? Go ahead.
I will make a motion for third read for bylaw amendment 1647U,
No.
okay, I was just gonna say the solar panel one, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Just did third reading.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
No, that
we
was.
did motion to approve third
did a-
reading.
We don't need
You
that.
don't need that.
Oh.
You don't need that, 'cause you already did first reading, so I just took it as third, sorry.
All right,
Yeah.
sorry, I did third reading.
Clearly. Yeah, we did.
Okay.
You don't need permission for either of these tonight.
All in favor?
This is so confusing.
It's a little bit. Sure is.
So I cancel.
All right, so now we've got 1647V.
Can we just sit on
Any
this?
concerns? Any concerns in
I'll sit
regards to
on
this?
Um,
Go ahead.
my only concern up on the top of the hill is the numbers and the traffic flow.
Is the what? The
Numbers of homes going in there and the traffic flow right in there. It looks like you're putting in a cul-de-sac or something in there, is that right? Yeah,
And how many acres is it?
there's,
0.85, I believe.
0.85 acres.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
0.85 acres.
There's 5, yeah.
and you're talking 6 units, okay?
Go ahead, sorry, Counselor Court. Actually, I can't have you come forward right now. Counselor Court, did you get your question answered
Yeah, I think so.
for now? Okay, Counselor Smith.
Mine's piggybacking on that, just the access. Have you had any concerns about the access and how
Yeah,
what that's
actually-
gonna
Yeah,
look like?
talk to him.
Yeah, you can't.
We have to keep it here.
Yeah, the
Public
discussion
info.
is here, not there. Say it one more time.
Any concerns over the access?
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
Which
that's-
is what you just said. Yeah.
Agreed.
Mhm.
So let's have one of you come up. We don't often invite you back, but you're here. So one of you, could you speak in regards to, I have 2 counselors that are concerned, I could have more than that, but that are concerned in regards to the traffic flow in and out of there.
Right.
Can you speak to that?
I'm going to speak for my father. The reason why we just have a cul-de-sac is because it will be a private road. It's in effect a driveway, and there will be a caveat on the property that will prohibit people from doing things that a lot of people do here, which is park 4 or 5 vehicles around their house. And that would be part of any rental agreement or anything that we do. So you know, my father, other than hating basements, he hates big roads, and he also hates all of the subdivisions I developed with him in Calgary, Post Hill and the Slopes, which I'm happy to share with you. They all have roads that are narrower, that allow the walking, thus my reference to the dog park, and very expensive dog park.
Yes.
And the idea there is the length of the road, as I understand it, is not so long that a fire truck could not pull up and access it. And then what we will do is put a caveat, and I'm happy to have that as a condition of approval, a caveat relating to parking off the road and how many vehicles or whatever may be allowable. So the only way I can answer that question, and I think the best way, is you can mitigate the concerns, I believe, with some
MPC.
thoughtful planning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that would answer that. And it would be the same in regards to having a grader come in and clean it out. But again, we could put that, MPC can handle that. Counselor Johnson.
I'm not so much concerned about your proposal and or the proposal that's put in front of us and the type of units that are there. I'm concerned about the bylaw itself. Does this bylaw itself allow for mobile home units to go in.
Administration, this is a question for you. You bet.
Like if it goes wrong, then that slaps some mobile homes in there.
I just need a minute to pull up the land use file.
You bet. Any other questions while we're putting a pin in that one?
This is just this one, right?
Yep, just this one.
Does the town, we don't have anything to do like with Alberta Transportation or anything have to deal with that? That's not,
MPC.
Okay.
MPC will handle all of that.
That would be at the development
Yep.
permit stage, I believe.
Yeah. So
you know,
that's
you
not
know more
us.
than me, I just am
That's-
wondering. So.
That's not our area.
You're
Councillor
human.
Councillor Johnson.
And you drink Dr. Pepper.
He does.
So we'll judge
Everybody
him.
here does.
Most of us do, yeah.
You're, like Councillor John, your concern is like just if it doesn't work out that that mobile homes could just be put in there kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's not gonna happen.
And that's a big concern because it's as you're driving into Cardston, right?
Yeah.
We're working really hard to have our
Gateways.
our gateway into town look lovely, and so that's not something that we would want to happen.
We're happy to have
Yeah,
one.
Councillor Selk, go ahead.
If I'm understanding Councillor Johnson correctly, I think what he's saying is if we adopt this bylaw,
Yes.
does that open up an opportunity for someone else to bring mobile homes in?
that's
And this way,
correct.
correct?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to nip this in the bud before we ever go down this road.
This
Yes.
group, it's the other groups.
Yeah.
My understanding, and I'm perhaps speaking out of turn, I'm a little nerdy. I like reading a lot. And I understood why the bylaw was framed previously, as far as lot size and other things. But because this is going to be a commercial direct control zone, I believe that when we apply for the development permit, that then you can impose whatever else you want. So the outstanding bylaws, the part of the bylaw that prohibits in effect, in practice, mobile homes will still apply to every other property.
Go ahead.
Patient there.
All good.
I had to run to find a cough drop for a minute too. Now, as these work, I got to scroll up and down for definitions, but the permitted use is single detached manufactured homes. So new factory builds, used factory builds that are at least in good repair and no more than 25 years of age from the passing of the bylaw, and single detached manufactured dwellings that are CSA certified. There's one other thing here I'm just looking. They have to be registered with the provincial personal property registration. So there are certainly some,
There's some open road there.
So to speak.
yeah, but they would have to be a factory built manufactured, which would not meet the definition. Like a mobile home would not meet that definition.
Okay.
And there isn't any other type of dwelling allowed in that zoning.
NMPC has
Does that answer your questions? Councillor Smith, Councillor Johnson?
I should just mention, I want to correct what I said. There is a discretionary use for a site build on that site as well, which would make sense. So manufacturer's site build has discretionary.
Okay. Councillor Kinley.
If everyone's okay, I'll just move to get bylaw 1647B second reading. Second reading.
Okay. Questions? All in favor? Would you like to move and give bylaw? I think Councillor Suck was just voting. It's just the delay. Yeah. You're good. Are you wanting to think about this, or are you ready to make? What are your thoughts, Council?
Go ahead.
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. Who would like to make that motion? Councillor Smith?
Sure. I don't have it here. I'd make a motion to
Move to give bylaw
move to bylaw
1647B,
sorry, lost it. 1647V,
third and
third
final
and
reading.
final reading.
Questions? All in favor?
Can afford to
Welcome
see what
to
you do up
Cardston.
there.
All right, perfect. Done with that. I think
We're done.
correspondence, we've done that. All right, we're going to take a break. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I'll make a motion to take a 10-minute break.
Yep. All in
Alright.
favor? Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? And
A motion to go into closed session.
thank you. All in favor? Perfect.
into closed session.
No, we're
No,
in
we're in
closed
closed
session. We're
session.
coming out of closed session.
Make a motion to come out of closed session.
All in favor? Counselor Kenley.
Are we good? Okay, I will move that council approve a repayment agreement for unpaid utilities requiring the resident of 750 Fairway Boulevard to pay a total of $3,797.71 over a period of 3 years with no interest or late payment penalties applied during the term of the agreement, provided all payments are made as scheduled. And further, that should any payment be missed or the agreement otherwise defaulted, the town's standard accounts receivable penalties and collection procedures shall apply. The owner and town must jointly sign a final release document indicating that both parties consider the matter closed and neither party is seeking further redress.
Questions?
Will seek further redress. Not is seeking. Shouldn't it be will, like in the?
And neither party is seeking further redress.
Neither is seeking.
Neither is. Questions?
3 years of free water.
Seeing none. All in favor? Final motion. Counselor Court.
To adjourn.
All in favor?
Get his name, baby. Out of here.